It's a good thing to be here as the finally as the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series gets ready to qualify in Kansas. It is cool. Nice horsepower making day. 61 degrees. The track temp is 80. The play peekaboo with the clouds here today. Welcome to our booth as we get ready to qualify. So
yeah,
Jeff,
welcome to our booth.
Well, yeah, after 21 hours, 21 hours of air travel or attempted air travel, it's good to finally be here. Thanks to Vince for filling in during final practice. Now, if you're running flat out around this racetrack and going just as fast as you can go, hammer down for the whole qualifying lap, Jeff, where do you find more speed than the next guy?
Exactly, and they are going to be wide open. It's going to be about getting off pit road, getting up to speed as fast as you possibly can, and then how can your team trim out that race car? Because, and horsepower is certainly going to play a role. So I'm really anxious. All day long, I've enjoyed what I've seen in practice, but I have no idea which car is going to come out of here on top. I think the Stewart-Haas Fords have a slight advantage. Their cars seem to be really efficient. DW thinks a little bit different, so I can't wait to get the green flag here.
By the way, we have a small bet.
Well, what's the other side to this story?
Well, I think handling is so crucial. You can't run wide open around here if your car's not handling well. So right. I think what we saw in practice, we saw guys out there jockeying around, being sure that they got a good package on the car so they can run wide open. They're going to be right on the bottom of the racetrack, and just like Jeff said, it's all about leaving pit road. Getting up to speed. The guy that gets up to speed is going to run the high line around 3 and 4, and then he's going to drop it to the bottom.
He likes the Stewart-Haas Fords. Who do you like?
I like Martin Truex and Denny Hamlin.
All right. Well, let's find out after this.
Indeed, he will make his first Cup Series start here tomorrow night. Now let's swing down to a guy that will make career start number 27 here tomorrow night. That includes Mike Bagley, a win that happened way back in 2003.
And that gentleman we're speaking of is Ryan Newman. And as we know, when we get all set up and squared away to qualify, this gentleman is not bashful about mashing the gas and getting that Ford Mustang as much speed out of that Ford Mustang as he possibly can. Ryan flying the yellow, white, and black colors this weekend for Performance Plus Motor Oil. We're talking about qualifying back to single car in a place like Kansas. We've been talking to a few guys about wide open around here. Is that doable?
Oh, wide open, no question, no problem. Just matter how fast you go, and then after that, is it really worth it? Like, how does it race compared to how you qualify? Because every car's wide open around here, then what are we trying to achieve?
How is it different this time through with what you're experiencing with the aero package, what you had in practice? How is it different with this configuration underneath the race car?
It's totally different when you get 8 or 10 cars out there compared to when you're by yourself. So everything we're doing here is just about raw speed, maybe get pit selection, good starting spot. But when you get back out there with a pack, it's pretty brutal. We really got to get offline and try to find some air. We can never find enough, it seems.
Single car runs are good for this man, and he's not bashful about mashing the foot to the floorboard. That's Ryan Newman. He'll go off in the 5th position here as we get set to qualify here in Kansas.
The Rocket Ryan Newman ready to go qualifying, and I talked to some of his crew members a little earlier today in the garage area, and he said they were saying that the car's got speed in it. They didn't necessarily like what they had as far as race trim package goes, but the car had speed in it. They were very hopeful that they could get a good qualifying effort and a good starting spot for tomorrow night's Digital Alley 400 here at Kansas Speedway.
So again, single car qualifying. First up, David Reagan. He's on board. Matt Pitt, Ross Chastain, Ryan Newman, Cody Ware. Those will be the first 5 cars off pit road. That will happen when we come back from Kansas Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
To Phoenix last year.
Drivers climbing aboard and ready to roll and qualify in Kansas. So the first 20 cars will be drivers who last week, or cars who last week qualified positions 21 to 40. Random draw for these first 20 positions. And David Reagan, new sponsor, the Mystic Lubricants, number 38 Ford for Front Row Motorsports.
And Mike, I talked about trimming these cars out. There's not a lot that these teams can do to trim the car out, to take that rear spoiler and get it out of the air. We see them do some of that at Daytona and Talladega, but this is an impound, and however they start this race, they've got to have some downforce once they get in the pack.
Yeah, and well, I think you watch David Reagan. You don't have to go all the way out to the wall. You're going to run the shortest distance around this racetrack to get the best possible time.
And David's finished top 20 his last 4 Kansas races.
When you saw how short of a line or lap, the lane that he chose, right on the bottom of the racetrack, coming all the way off that corner down to the apron.
And that's about what he ran in practice.
30.99. Regan Smith.
Well, the RCR cars have had very strong qualifying this year. Ty Dillon has a technical alliance with RCR with his number 13 car. Ty, a little bit of a struggle today. What do you expect out of this lap?
Yeah, we don't really know with our Geico Camaro. We didn't really have the feel that we wanted in practice, but we kind of wholesaled it. Went to our Texas package that we qualified and raced on, and qualified 9th there. So we'll see what we got, and hopefully we can continue this good streak of momentum we've got in this race team.
These guys have been fun to watch, scoring some stage points and a lot of things the past couple weeks.
Rookie Matt Tifft, the Out West Express Ford for Front Row, finished 6th in the Xfinity race here last October. 31.19 for Matt Tifft. Here's Matt Yoakum.
And Kyle Busch had one of the fastest cars in practice. So for years, you would always kind of check up out of the throttle going in the corner. Now with the standard operating procedure this year, do you have to remind yourself not to hit the brake?
No, not really. You can definitely feel the speed difference and just going off into the corner a little bit slower, but then your attention picks up as you get in the corner because your corner speeds are so high. But, overall, just our M&M's Camry's been okay this weekend. We made it a lot better in race trim and being able to get some comfort out of it and some drivability out of it in traffic and whatnot. But doing those sorts of things will definitely slow you down single car speed, so don't expect us to be very good here today, folks.
All right, thanks, KB.
Ross Chastain, he has run 27 NASCAR National Series races this year. That's all of them. He's in the Low T Center Chevrolet, 31-24.
I just didn't need to hear that.
What's that, Low T?
No, from Kyle Busch.
Oh, from Low T.
Don't expect much out of us qualifying.
I just didn't need to hear that.
I got a little excited.
I pulled the 20 right there.
Ryan Newman compared to David Reagan. He is in the Roush Fenway number 6, the Performance Plus Motor Oil Ford.
And this is going to be a great day for our ghost car. I think the times are going to be so close. Cars are going to be laid right over the top of one another. We will be able to see where each driver or each car is picking up just the slightest bit.
Newman's quickest, 30.89. Fastest by 1/10 of a second.
But Mike, those times, all of those are almost what they ran in practice, which is in a 1/10 of what they ran in practice. So I've been monitoring that a little bit, see what their best practice lap was, and pretty close.
And what I saw of some of the faster cars that went, they were in the 30.30, 38, maybe even a 30-40 range. So I think we're going to see these times creep down another half a second or more.
Here is Cody Ware in the Jacob Company's Chevrolet, making his first Cup Series start at Kansas.
And Cody Ware in practice, he ran a 31.46. Let's see if he what he does here in qualifying.
Yeah, some of these guys in practice were actually doing a little drafting as well, getting a little bit of a toe.
Just a skosh slower.
Skosh, I don't see that on my watch here anyway. Bailey Curry is Cody's teammate in the number 52, the Belmont Classic Cars Ford. He has 4 Cup Series starts all this season. Came to the green pretty well. Car had a little bit of a slide coming up off turn number 2.
Yeah, I think that's pretty impressive so far, how he's been able to stay as close to the time that Ryan Newman put together. Second.
And second so far, 30.95.
Now that's a great pickup for him. He was 31.20 in practice. Yes. So that's a nice job. He did something right.
Tyler Reddick is in the Tame the Beast Chevrolet, the number 31. He made his Cup debut at Daytona, finished 27th, was runner-up in the Xfinity race here in October.
I think there's a lot of people excited to see Tyler Reddick this weekend. Man, this kid knows how to run up high near the wall. We saw that in practice and already seen a little bit of speed out of that 31 car.
Well, these Richard Childress racing cars, they've been qualifying pretty darn good. The 3 and the 8 both have been qualifying good, so this wouldn't be a big surprise. See how he does. Yeah.
Second. You know, we've seen where usually once you get the momentum, it continues on. A little surprised that Reddick did not continue to stay ahead of Newman.
Tame the Beast, those are men's grooming products. That's what the stat boys tell me.
I know, but me and Darryl looked at one another and said, do you have a comment for that? I don't know if I have a comment for that.
I'm happy with that.
Well, Reed Sorensen in the Harris Chevrolet will not make an attempt. Here is Landon Castle in the Starcom Fiber Chevrolet. Finished 17th here in June of 2011.
How about Landon Castle?
How about that, boys?
Iowa boy, top of the chart, 30.82. Regan.
Well, it's a little bit simpler sponsor around Daniel Hemrick's car this week. Bass Pro Shots and Trackers. Nothing to do with men's grooming, guys, thankfully. Hey, you guys have had very fast cars in qualifying. What do you anticipate? I saw you watching your teammate Tyler Reddick real closely there.
You know, really, I don't expect as much speed out of our RCR Camaros Z01s we've had. You know, we've had that speed, but haven't really quite had the drivability once we got into the race. So this being an impound deal, you got to kind of take some of that stuff out of it and really rely on your balance. So we'll see what we have with this Bass Pro Shop car. I'm happy with how it's drove in practice. Just got to work on getting to where you know you can be in that big pack and feel confident in what you got. So not a lot of expectations here. We're going to see.
Thanks, Daniel.
Corey LaJoie in the Schluter Systems Ford is now our fastest qualifier by 3/1000th of a second. Coming up, Ty Dillon, Quinn Houff, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Busch. This broadcast of Friday qualifying is also live on Fox partner Caffeine. You can watch, chat, host your own broadcast. Give fans your take on the event. Caffeine's available on the Apple App Store, Google Play. Download for free today. Ty Dillon in the Geico Chevy. Best Kansas finish of 14th here 2 years ago.
And I think we're going to see right here with Ty Dillon how focused these teams are on their race setup and how good the car is going to drive versus how fast they want to go in qualifying, because he did qualify, as he mentioned, in the top 10 in Texas.
30.95 was his best practice time. Let's see what he can do.
He's certainly ahead of that right now, ahead of Corey LaJoie.
Now these next 10 drivers, again, random draw of the 20 cars that qualified in positions 21 and higher last week.
Oh, yeah,
so
nice.
Ty Dillon,
nice.
30-60.
30.95 practice, 30.60 qualifying. I like it.
Nice job, 30-60. I like it. Good job, boy.
Well done. All right, Darrell, we're going to get you some of this.
What is it?
This is Quinn Houff in the Spire Motorsports 77, the Oil Fire Rye Whiskey Chevrolet.
What'd you yeah.
Did you have a little vapor lock there, buddy?
Starting to get a little hoarse.
Got some interesting new sponsors this week.
We do.
This is Quinn's first start on a Cup track larger than 1 mile, the short tracker from Virginia. And he clocks in 8th with a 31.12. Bubba Wallace for Richard Petty Motorsports in the Worldwide Technology Camaro. He'll be looking for his second top 10 finish on a 1.5 miles here tomorrow night.
He came to the green,
so far looking pretty
good.
good.
Bit of speed, looks pretty good in 1 and 2. Holding a pretty wheel down the back. Might have lost a tad there.
Yeah.
Coming back.
It's going to be close.
Car doesn't have a lot of drag. Gets down the straightaway pretty good. Goes to the top.
5.2 100ths. 30.57. Kyle Busch, top 10 in the last 8 Kansas races. He has tied Morgan Shepherd's record for most top 10 finishes to start a season and can break it tomorrow night.
I thought that was really interesting how short of a line he ran to cut off the apron at the start-finish line and gained on so far the 43 car Bubba Wallace, but Bubba Wallace's car showing a little bit more speed, a little less drag on the overall lap.
Yeah, I mean, it appears that the 18 car's got a little more drag in it than the 43 did. See how it turns out here.
Second. Toyota second, 30.58. 1/100th behind Bubba Wallace. Regan?
Well, the last time we qualified at a 1.5 mile racetrack, Jimmy Johnson was the fastest man there, but this is going to be a drastically different lap than what you had to do at Texas. So we have the same speed today?
I hope so. Texas was really the start of a lot of our speed that we found at Hendrick Motorsports, so we're excited to be here in Kansas. Valley Chevy's been good. Always want to be, be a bit better, but things have been off to a great start so far.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Joey Gase up next in the number 46. This is the MBM Motorsports Toyota. .33 career starts for Joey, but this is his third start of the season. He was in the Cup race at Richmond, but this car needs to find some speed. 32.02.
Wow.
Next up, Ryan Preece in the Kroger Chevrolet, making his first Cup start here. Had a career day at Talladega and then a tough time at Dover last Sunday.
But Mike, again, I think you watch the different, every driver does something a little bit different. You know, some of the guys, y'all are going to run high in 3 and 4 to come to get the green. But we saw Kyle Busch on the apron to get the green, and it seemed to help him.
I thought that was a big gain for Kyle Busch too. I mean, and I think he knew he needed to get as much out of that car as he possibly could by making a shorter lap.
Well, Preece is 8th with a 30.93.
You can even see his car skewed a little bit the opposite direction we see on most downforce tracks to try to take a little skew out of this, or put some skew in it to take a little drag out of this car.
Next qualifier is Timmy Hill in the 66, another MBM Motorsports Toyota. Hill making his 3rd start of the year and his 1st since Bristol.
It looked like the car was hitting the racetrack.
Yeah,
I saw some sparks.
Yeah, sparks flying out under it and took off up the track. I mean, he bottomed out big time.
And we heard a lot of drivers talking about their cars bottoming out in practice. Maybe went a little bit too far here.
Let's show you Timmy going, dare I say it?
Bam.
Up the hill.
Up the hill. Yeah, something on the left side there. Maybe the truck arm mount hitting the racetrack.
All right, here's Matt.
And Bubba Wallace has climbed from his 43. So what do you think about that lap?
It's good. It's good for us. You know, you look around and you kind of sort of get a gauge on where you're going to run, and then hell, you surprise yourself sometimes. So definitely a shot in the arm that I need personally, but our team needed. So I don't know where we'll stack up, but heck of an effort. But you know, this interview wouldn't get to be complete without a nice cold Coca-Cola. So all good.
Hey, that was so good. Do a double. There you go.
All right, Michael McDowell, the Dockside Logistics Ford, on track. Top 20 in 3 of the last 4 Kansas races, and McDowell is 4th. Here's Regan.
Well, Martin Truex Jr., a win last week. No matter what happens in this qualifying session, though, you've already had a pretty lucky day. That was a heck of a save earlier to not wreck this race car.
Well, I thank Larson for kind of gathering it up there at the last second. But, yeah, it was definitely closer than we want to be in practice for sure. But got a little work to do on our Auto Owners Camry. It was we got a lot better in the second practice. We need a little bit more. And I have no idea how we're going to qualify. So go out there and make a lap, see what we got.
All right, thanks, Martin. Good luck.
Chris Buescher on track in the Kroger Your Personal Pit Stop Chevrolet.
Yeah, his teammate Ryan Preece is in the 9th position. Looks like he's going to fall in somewhere close to that same range.
And in case you missed that close call, as Buescher times in 7th. Let's take you back to final practice. Kyle Larson.
Dirt tracking it sideways up top, gets loose. Martin Truex Jr. trying to figure out how to get by him. Boy, luckily that thing caught right at the last second and did not make contact, or if it did, just barely any contact with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr.
Both drivers did an incredible job. I mean, Martin held his line, got his speed down, and allowed Kyle Larson to save his car.
Daniel Hemrick, the rookie in the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boat Chevrolet, was here last October for the Xfinity race, won the pole and finished 2nd.
Well, this goes to show you they've decided to put a little more downforce and drag into their race car so it'll drive a little bit better in the race, because they've typically qualified very strong at these mile and a halves.
7th for Daniel Hemrick. Bubba Wallace fastest so far.
Looking for some speed. pick up Eric Jones, Jimmy Johnson, William Byron, and his teammate Chase Elliott running next down onto the racetrack. Kansas Speedway, the Series of Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Well, we wait for the next competitive effort is running out. That will be Austin Dillon in car number 3, followed by Eric Jones in car number 20. So those cars wait for the go-ahead to make their way out onto the racetrack and get their qualifying pass in. Again, we've got 30 competitors going later tonight, so 30 scheduled anyway, for the running of the Digital Ally 250 with the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series. That green flag scheduled to fly just over an hour from now at 7:40 this evening here at Kansas Speedway. Driving the schedule to begin around 7 o'clock. If you want to start making your plans for when you want to make sure
The final 20 qualifiers are the cars that qualified in positions 1 through 20 last week, subject to a random draw. So the first random will be Austin Dillon in the American Ethanol Camaro.
He could put up a pretty good lap. It's a pretty good qualifier. San Poet, California, similar package.
We've seen them qualify up front, be really strong, but have some issues following back in the race. So
I just can't believe it. No one noticed what Kyle Busch did coming to get the green. I mean,
I know.
Just
I
get out
agree.
on
He
that,
was really far ahead of Bubba.
Get out on that apron. Shortest route around this joint's fastest.
Now this just goes to show you that that 3 team and all those at RCR are really focused on getting their cars to drive good. They want better results in the race, not in qualifying.
Also shows us Bubba Wallace had one killer lap.
He did.
Pretty
yes,
fair,
he did.
Pretty good lap.
Might be smiling for a while here.
Dillon is 4th, right behind his younger brother, 30.75. Regan?
Well, Kurt Busch was the fastest man in practice. You turned to 30.30. We were discussing Bubba Wallace's lap at a 30.50. What do you have for this lap coming up here a little bit? A little faster than that, maybe?
I'm hoping so. We've been struggling on Fridays, and feels like, you know, with all good intentions here towards a cool sponsor, Global Poker, feels like my hands that I've been dealt is a 7 and a 2 off-suited. And we just haven't been able to make it work. We've been sideways loose all year. So I'm hoping I got a pair of aces right now with the Global Poker Chevy. I'm going to hold it wide open, and it's going to end up wherever it's going to end up.
Kurt already beat me at poker. I had trouble adding up those numbers.
All right. Here comes Eric Jones in the DeWalt Toyota for Joe Gibbs.
I think he may have.
Yes, 30.57 with a 7. Bubba Wallace was 30.57 with a 9.
And let's watch Eric Jones come to the start-finish line, just like his teammate Kyle Busch runs on the apron, runs that really short line, and really, I mean, to me, I think if I'm watching qualifying right now, I'd be telling my driver, you need to do this same thing because it's a big gain into turn 1.
Well, Kyle Busch told his teammates. I don't know if it seemed like everybody would have seen that, but maybe they didn't.
Jimmy Johnson in the Ally Chevrolet had one of his longer career winless streaks ended here at Kansas in 2011.
I just always think of that great battle between Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson here on that final lap.
Yes.
One of the all-time great last laps.
Always loved that crossover. Well, it worked in a video game.
5th for Jimmy, 30.67. Here's his teammate at Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron, driving the UniFirst Chevrolet. He's had 2 top 10s already this season. He had 4 all of last year.
Putting a nice lap together, really rolling through 1 and 2. He didn't go down on the apron, but has a nose out in front of current leader Eric Jones.
And he's pulling a little bit here too on the straightaway.
His car was fast in practice, showed some good speed, not just on a single car run.
It's going to be a good lap. He's gapping the 20.
Top of the chart, 30.48 for Byron. That is 9/100ths quicker than Eric Jones.
I think we're starting to get down into those lap times. I think it's going to be in the high 30s, low 40s, what it's going to take to be up front.
Look at Chad.
Chad Knaus pretty happy about that.
We did just what I told him to.
Tomorrow in FS1, the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series goes under the lights here in Kansas. Race day, 7 Eastern, green flag 7:30, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Matt?
Mike, if you go back 4 years ago yesterday, Eric Jones made his first Cup Series start, filling in for Kyle Busch in the 18, and you even passed your hero Jeff Gordon at one point. You picked up a 10th from your time in practice.
Yeah, it actually was a really good lap for us. I'm pleasantly surprised by that. But, the DeWalt Camry is really good in race trim. We never made a mock run, so I wasn't sure where we'd end up on that. But happy with that. Hopefully it'll stick up in the top 10. I feel like that's a pretty competitive lap. There's some good cars yet to come, but definitely happy with that lap.
Mike?
16 cars to go. A little break in the action here as they had to reset one of the caution lights on the speedway as Chase, what did all the Hendrick drivers draw together? Well, all but one did. Chase Elliott following Jimmy Johnson and William Byron in the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Chase led the most laps last week in Dover and was the winner here last October.
Yeah, he's good at this racetrack, and these cars, Hendrick cars, have been running better and better and better every week, qualifying better, racing better. I expect to see a pretty good lap out of this 9 car. He took the wide arc. I mean, he took it way out and then swung it down right in the middle of the trowel there at the start line. See how that works out.
So far, so good.
Now, my understanding, there are no spotters on the roof during single car qualifying, as there would have been in knockout qualifying. So I guess the question, Darrell, would be who is up there to observe on behalf of the drivers that are shortcutting and maybe getting faster laps because of it?
I'm pretty sure the spotters are up there. If there's a car on the track, you have to have a spotter.
That's right.
I'm not sure that you could.
Well, but also there are people watching down in the trucks that can share that information through.
So I'm not sure about that, Mike. But I think if there's a car on the track, you have to have a spotter to watch it.
But that's a real lap right there that Chase Elliott just put in.
30-34 for Chase.
Yeah, that's where we're going to be.
Regan.
Guys, I think we might be able to clear up just a little bit of that question as to who's helping these guys out with the lines. Daniel Suarez, you're standing here looking at a computer with the SMT data. Are you watching the lines that other guys are running to figure out where you want to be?
Yeah, it's really cool to have all this technology with SMT and already everyone in the 41 car because I can see actually, well, first of all, I got lucky. I have to, I can qualify in the back, so I can look most of the cars and compare those cars with my run in practice to see where they're making time, getting up to speed, the line and stuff like that. So we see what we got here. The 41 Ford Mustang has automation. It's been a handful today, but we chase everything but the driver. So we'll see what we got.
All right, good luck, Daniel.
All right, Matt DiBenedetto, 3091 in the Digital Momentum HubSpot Toyota. Here's Ricky Stenhouse in the Sonny D Ford for Roush Fenway, looking for his first top 10 finish here.
And when you hear these teams or drivers talk about SMT data, that's what we're looking at here on the right. That is the Ghost car. It's that same technology that these teams are looking at.
Well, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. can barely see the Ghost car because he is way out in front of him.
Yeah, and he probably had an indication what kind of lap he was going to have when his teammate Ryan Newman went earlier.
It's not too bad. 8th quick.
8th quick for Stenhouse with a 30.73. So, Darrell, you were right. That was the rule. Anytime cars are on track, you need a spotter. However, for single car qualifying, NASCAR has ruled that spotters are not required. They are optional. There's about half a dozen of them up there, Andy Jeffers tells us.
It's good to know.
But they are not required to be on station for a single car.
Well, your guy Truex came to the green really good, went into turn 1 pretty good.
He's hanging.
He's hanging.
He's going to draft now. You can get behind the Ghost car, get a little pull here.
Well, he's won 2 of the last 4 here.
Went a little wide here. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Auto Owners Insurance Toyota, 2nd for Truex, 30.44, a 10th behind Chase Elliott, 4/100ths ahead of William Byron.
Pretty good lap.
Ryan Blaney next up in the body armor Ford. 5 top 10s and 8 Kansas starts.
I'll tell you one thing, I watched this car on the track earlier today and you could pick it out. Oh, that's a real racy color. Man, he's way up the track here.
Yeah, to me, as good as these cars are handling being wide open, I would think I'd want to run that shorter lap around here, not go wide off the exits.
9th fastest for Blaney. Regan?
Well, veteran Kevin Harvick sitting here watching, and we've had a lot of discussion about what line guys are going to run today. You've had a fast race car all day long. When will you figure out what line you're going to run?
I think you just kind of ride it, you know, as you come off the corner and feel like the car is going in a good direction. If it's in the middle of the track, then you stay in the middle of the track. So obviously distance seems to have mattered in some of these guys' qualifying runs, but our Busch Beer Ford has been really fast by itself. It's been fast behind cars, and hopefully it stays that way for tomorrow night.
Good looking Busch Ford this week. He's got an even better Millennials one next week I'm excited about.
Clint Boyer, the Rush Truck Center's Haas Automation Ford.
This looks pretty racy
Local
here, guys.
boy here trying to get that first Kansas win.
Home track advantage. Let's see.
Pretty good lap, I would say.
Top of the pops, 30-28.
Woo! Even faster than I thought they'd be going in qualifying.
Coming up, there's the group of your next of 10 drivers who remain to qualify.
There you go. What do you got to give you?
Okay. 10 drivers to go, trying to beat Clint Boyer and Chase Elliott for the front row. Denny Hamlin is next in the FedEx Freight Toyota. He won our last mile-and-a-half track race at Texas.
It's usually a pretty good qualifier. I bet you. Let's see if he'll go the apron. Come on, man.
Oh, he's definitely going to the apron.
Go to the apron.
He's going to run a nice, tidy, short lap here.
Yeah, now we're talking.
And during the break, Matt Yoakum confirmed that while the spotters do not have to be up on the perch on the roof, at least one crewman must be in radio contact with the driver should NASCAR have a red flag or other odd circumstance during their run.
This is not looking good for me or Denny.
But honestly, DW, the Toyotas just haven't qualified great this year, but they race extremely well. So I don't think that they're going to have a problem being very competitive tomorrow.
Denny was 6th in practice. He is 9th right now with a 30.65. Matt?
And Jeff Gordon talked about it. This is Clint Boyer's home track. Currently P1, this is a special place to you.
It really is. Everybody experiences that, right? Everybody has a home track, and certainly this is mine. Proud of this racetrack, proud of everything that's become of this area. You know, I mean, every time you come here, you can't help but to think, taking the old Sonic 79 car, you know, by here, dreaming of this place and going down and taking care of business at Lakeside down the road. But this is probably the best shot I've had in a long time. You know, we unloaded an extremely fast Rush Truck Center's Ford, and proud of these guys. They know that this is the one I want to win more than anything, and all of the boys at Stewart-Haas Racing gave us all an opportunity. Hey, like I said, this is it's so now that I can, when this interview gets over, you're going to go ahead and interview my teammate.
I will.
I am going to go ahead and do what everybody needs to do and go eat some Kansas City barbecue.
Ooh,
there you go. Well, his teammate Eric Almirola was fastest in practice in the Smithfield Ford, and he is now fastest in qualifying, 30:21.
Great lap.
Now the question I had for Boyer was, is it Oklahoma Joe's, Jack Stacks?
Oh, we'll find out.
Arthur Bryant's?
How about
a lot of good barbecue around here.
You got to go to the Moonlight, man.
Moonlight.
You never been to the Moonlight?
Everybody's got a favorite.
How about Kurt Busch in his interview? Was he going all Phil Hellman on us or what? I mean, all dressed in black, the dark glasses, the whole thing, and nothing but poker terms.
Yes, I think he was.
Well, let's see how many cards he's got to play here.
Doesn't have the pocket aces.
Global Poker Chevrolet. He draws a 9. 30-58. Paul Menard, the Menards, Dutch boy. Ford for the Wood brothers. Finished 6th there last year.
You know, an interesting thing to me, it seems to me like at Roush Yates' engine package, you know, whether it's a tapered spacer or in this case the 550 horsepower engine, they seem to always figure out a way to do a little bit more with their engine, get a little bit more out of it, whether it's torque or I don't know what it is, but they always seem to have a formula for success when we start restricting these engines down.
Well, don't forget those Stewart-Haas boys have their own wind tunnel. I think that's playing a role here with some aero efficiency here today.
11th for Paul Menard. Almirola fastest so far. By the way, the Busch brothers ran identical times to the 1,000th of a second.
Well, they're not going to like that.
Well, they would like that if that was on the front row.
Yeah.
Daniel Suarez, the Haas Automation Demo Day Ford. 3rd at Texas, our last mile-and-a-half track. Well, he's trying to put Fords in all the top 3 spots here.
He's right there. He's hanging. He's up to his door. Got to get a little better run off of Ford if you're going to beat that 10 car. Ooh, went a little wide right here. That hurt.
Yeah, the 10 of Almirola really ran a very low line off of turn 4.
3rd, 30-29. Top 3 cars are all Stewart-Haas Mustangs.
With one more to go that I think is going to be right there with them.
Oh, you're so confident. I like.
I just saw. I saw something in practice that I felt.
You got 3
confident.
teammates up there, and yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that 4 car.
Kyle Larson in the Credit One Bank Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi. Top 6 finish in 3 of the last 4 Kansas races.
Blocking off that right side window duct there, try to create a little less drag.
Huh. That's interesting.
And Larson 7th, 3rd among the Chevrolets with a 30-53. Well, it was last October at Talladega where Stewart-Haas swept the front 4 starting spots.
Now, I don't know if Brad Keselowski, who's coming up here next, if he has it for qualifying, but he certainly had a fast race car on the longer run, so look for him to be really good tomorrow.
Brad was a winner here in 2011. He was 8th fastest in practice in his Worth Ford. See if he can break up the Stewart-Haas trio at the top.
10 car is moving, buddy.
Right now, his teammate Ryan Blaney all the way down there in 16th position. I think this is definitely going to be better than that.
4th among the Fords, 8th overall for Keselowski, right about where he practiced at 30-54.
All right, here's the guy.
Here's Harv.
I think this is the guy to watch, not just here at qualifying, but all weekend. This is a great track for him, showing a lot of speed on all of our averages on the 10 lap, 15, 20 lap average. He was the guy to beat, and look at him going right to the top here against his teammate, Eric Almirola.
Winner of 2 of the last 5 Cup races at Kansas in the Busch Beer Ford. Here comes money.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be down. This is going to be right close to a flat, looks to me like.
There's nothing DW hates more than giving me a little bit of his cash out of his pocket.
I feel like I've been set up.
Hey, now we're going to send you over that casino on the backstretch. Harvick to the top, 30-13.
Right, good job.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 for Stuart Haas.
That was a double whammy.
With 2 cars to go.
He went to the top with his time, and he knocked my guy Truex out of the top 5.
I didn't notice that, did he?
You don't.
Alex Bowman in practice in the Exalta Chevrolet. Got his Camaro up and into the wall.
Nothing a little paint can't fix right there.
Just cosmetic damage.
But you know what I love? He's been running really good last couple of weeks. It wasn't like a big deal. We'll pound it out. We'll get you back out. You're going to be fine. A few weeks ago, it had been disaster. But because of the runs he's had last couple of weeks, no big deal.
It's been a great week for him. Monday with a runner-up finish at Dover. 30-54, 4th among the Chevys and 10th overall for Bowman. And he was 4th quickest in practice. And our final qualifier is the Pennzoil Ford, Joey Logano for Team Penske. He's finished top 10 the last 4 races.
And ran a 30-63 in practice. We'll see what he can do here.
15th in practice. And remember, these final 20 spots are set by a random draw from last week's qualifying.
See how stiff that car is, DW,
Yeah,
on the bouncing and oscillating over those bumps. This track is really smooth, but these guys with their setups can make those cars look like the track's rough.
A.J. Ford had a car one time like that, and he said it was nibbling.
All the way down to 20th. A little surprised by that.
Yes. Just below his teammate Blaney, 30-72. Our stat boys hand me the sheet. I think they typed this morning. Kevin Harvick has won his 28th career pole in his 658th career start. 3rd pole this season.